Have you noticed how the most powerful people say less, reveal less, and appear less, yet somehow control everything? They never fight for attention. They don't beg to be understood. They use absence like a weapon. Machiavelli understood what most people never will. When you're too visible, you become ordinary. When you're too available, you become replaceable. But when you pull back, when you become rare, your value multiplies. People don't chase truth. They chase mystery. The less they can reach you, the more they imagine you. Now, imagine if you lived that way. If you stopped explaining yourself, stopped proving your worth, and became calm, quiet, deliberate, unavailable by choice, the world would shift around you. Because most people control you through access. They drain your power through your need to be seen. But the moment you start holding back, everything reverses. Your silence becomes influence. Your distance becomes power. That's when you stop being wanted and start being needed. The modern world lied to you. It told you that being available means being important. But Machiavelli would call that self-destruction. He knew a darker truth. The more accessible you are, the less respect you earn. The fastest way to destroy your value is to make yourself easy to reach. Look around. People post every thought, explain every move, expose every emotion. They've mistaken visibility for significance. They think showing more makes them wanted. But exposure doesn't create admiration. It creates familiarity. And familiarity always breeds contempt. When everyone can have a piece of you, no one treasures the whole. Machiavelli warned rulers to appear rarely, because what's common can't be revered. You lose mystery. You lose leverage. You become predictable. And predictability is death in the game of power. Understand this. Humans crave what pulls away from them. Scarcity creates desire. Uncertainty creates obsession. That's the rule every ruler and strategist has used since the beginning of time. You can see it everywhere. The quiet executive no one dares to disturb. The artist who disappears between projects. The leader who speaks only once. Their value comes not from how much they give, but from how little. You, on the other hand, give everything. Your time, words, energy, emotions, and then wonder why no one listens. It's because you've trained them to take you for granted. You've taught them that you'll always explain, respond, and show up. Availability has become your identity, and that's why you feel unseen. Machiavelli would tell you this: power lives in the gap between what's shown and what's hidden. When people don't fully know you, they fill in the blanks, and their imagination makes you larger than life. But when you reveal too much, you become small, ordinary, predictable. Mystery is the currency of authority. The moment people can predict you, you've lost control. You've given them the map to your emotions, and anyone with that map owns you. So what's the solution? You withdraw, not out of pride, but discipline. You stop explaining. You stop proving. You stop broadcasting every thought. You move in silence and let results speak. When you limit access, you create distance, and distance breeds power. It makes people think twice before approaching you. They begin to value your time, your attention, your presence. All things they once took freely. You become rare, and rarity has always commanded respect. Think about it. Even an object loses meaning when it's everywhere. But when it's hidden or limited, it becomes sacred. That's not just philosophy. That's market logic. Human nature runs on the same rule. Most people fail because they overexpose emotionally. They think vulnerability earns loyalty, but it often invites exploitation. They think generosity builds love, but it creates expectation. You don't gain respect by giving everything. You gain it by holding back what others feel entitled to have. That's the Machiavellian secret. Make your presence rare enough to be remembered, and your absence powerful enough to be feared. Each time you say less, your words grow heavier. Each time you appear less, your presence becomes symbolic. Each time you react less, your energy becomes more intimidating. You are not meant to be constantly reachable. You are meant to be strategically unreachable, because what can't be reached must be pursued, and what must be pursued becomes precious. Start testing this. Take a day without explaining. Delay replies. Stay calm when provoked. Watch how fast people start chasing your attention again. Watch how silence starts to control them. Machiavelli knew a prince's greatest weapon wasn't his army. It was perception. And perception is created in the shadows. The more you speak, the more you become noise. The more you step back, the more you turn into myth. That's why the powerful never announce their moves. They let absence tell the story. They let curiosity do the work. Because silence increases value faster than attention ever will. So stop performing for the crowd. Stop trying to be seen. Be felt. Withdraw with intention. Move rarely. Speak selectively. Because in the end, it's not the one who shows the most who becomes valuable. It's the one who shows the least and is still remembered. That's Machiavelli's secret. Not to speak louder, but to become so rare, so disciplined, so precise that the world begins to measure its words around yours. That's how you stop being ordinary and start becoming dangerously valuable. Once you pull back from the world, something strange happens. At first, no one notices. Then they begin to wonder. And soon, they begin to chase. That's because absence distorts perception. When you're no longer easy to reach, your image grows in their minds. They replay every word, every pause, every silence you left behind. And in that repetition, your value multiplies. It's not magic, it's strategy. Machiavelli understood that the image of power often matters more than power itself. People serve the illusion of control far more faithfully than the reality of it. And distance, calm, deliberate distance, keeps that illusion alive. The truth is, people need your energy more than they admit. They feed off your reactions, your presence, your attention. Take that away, and they start to feel withdrawal. That tension turns into obsession. They begin to invent reasons for your silence. They explain your distance just to protect their pride. It's fine, they tell themselves. But it's not. Because the human mind can't stand uncertainty. That's why your restraint scares them. When you stop reacting, they lose control. They can't predict you anymore. And what they can't predict, they start to respect. That's the moment your power begins to mature. Your silence stops looking weak and starts feeling powerful, you're no longer a piece in their game. You've become the ground they move on. Watch closely. The same people who once ignored you will now change their tone. They'll slow down. They'll measure their words. They'll test the air before they speak. That's the power of scarcity. It changes behavior without you doing a thing. You didn't become stronger. You simply became harder to reach. And that alone changes everything. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said a ruler must be seen rarely. It wasn't arrogance, it was intelligence. When people can't predict you, they must anticipate you. And anticipation creates respect. That's why kings once hid their faces behind masks. It wasn't vanity, it was strategy. Mystery isn't decoration, it's defense. You do the same when you withdraw. You protect your energy from casual access. You teach people that access has a price, and that price is respect. But remember this, distance only builds value when it's intentional. If your silence comes from fear, people feel it. If it comes from control, they feel that too. That difference decides whether you're ignored or feared. When you pull away, do it calmly. No defense, no announcements, no noise. Just reduce your presence. You're not retreating, you're restructuring. The strongest form of power isn't dominance, it's detachment. The ability to keep your emotions behind glass while others expose theirs freely. It's not indifference, it's control. Control over your reactions, your time, and your presence. People think confidence is loud. It's not. Confidence is restraint. It's measured by what you don't give away, by how much of yourself you keep unseen. When you master that, something powerful happens. You stop needing validation. You stop needing to be noticed to know your worth. You stop performing and start observing. And observation gives you the upper hand because now every move is on your terms. Every silence is deliberate. Every appearance is calculated, and what's rare becomes valuable. That's the rule. The fewer glimpses people get of you, the more each one matters. It's the same principle that makes diamonds precious and opinions worthless. One is scarce, the other is everywhere. You are meant to be the diamond, refined, distant, untouched by noise. The world doesn't need to see you to feel you. The powerful aren't loud. They're selective. They understand that mystery multiplies impact. That silence isn't the absence of communication, but proof of self-mastery. So let them talk. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Don't explain where you've been. Don't justify what you're doing. The less they know, the more they think. And the more they think, the higher your value rises in their minds. That's the real trick, not dominance or arrogance, but control through absence. The fewer moves you make, the more meaning each one carries. When that happens, you don't chase power. Power begins to circle around you. Because in a world addicted to noise, the one who withholds becomes divine. When most people lose control, they reach for words. They explain, defend, argue, and beg to be understood. That's how they lose power, not by being wrong, but by being predictable. Machiavelli knew that words are a double-edged weapon. Used carelessly, they reveal your motives. Used precisely, they create control. But the greatest mastery is knowing when not to speak. Silence isn't the absence of communication. It's communication at its highest level. It's subtle, selective, psychological. It doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. When you withhold, you're not ignoring people. You're making them expose themselves. Because silence creates pressure, and pressure reveals truth. Watch what happens when you stop reacting. People rush to fill the silence. They explain, defend, and overcompensate. They show you who they really are, and who's truly desperate for control. You, meanwhile, stay still. That stillness unsettles them. In a world that worships noise, calmness looks like dominance. Machiavelli advised rulers to remain calm, even in chaos. That calm isn't politeness. It's strategy. The one who stays quiet in conflict becomes a mirror, reflecting everyone else's panic. And panic always destroys itself. When you stop giving instant reactions, you take away others' power to manipulate you. They can't predict your next move. They can't provoke what they can't read. They are left guessing your intentions, trapped in their own uncertainty. And in that silence, you take control of time itself. You decide when the moment ends. You decide how long they wait. You decide what they feel in the gap you've created. That is the art of silent control, turning restraint into influence. Every second you delay a reaction adds to your leverage. Every unanswered message increases your perceived worth. Every calm pause makes your next word heavier. That's how silence becomes power, not through force, but through control. You're no longer reacting to their emotions. They're reacting to your silence. That's the reversal Machiavelli mastered, making others move while you remain still. Because motion without direction is chaos, but stillness with purpose is command. The weak speak to be understood. The powerful stay silent to be interpreted. The weak chase clarity. The powerful use mystery as a weapon. That's why you must master the pause, not as hesitation, but as strategy. The pause makes people project their fears into your silence. They start assuming your thoughts. They begin to fight for your attention. They start seeking the validation they once ignored. Your withdrawal becomes their obsession. An obsession always ends in submission. In human psychology, the one who reacts first always bows first. Reaction is surrender. Restraint is sovereignty. That's why you must delay by design. Not out of laziness, but calculation. Don't respond in anger. Don't reveal your plans. Don't satisfy curiosity. Every unanswered question keeps people tied to your story. Every deliberate pause teaches them that your attention must be earned. And once they begin working for it, you've already won. Machiavelli wrote that power must always feel just out of reach. You must give enough to keep them chasing. A word, a glance, a fraction of approval. And then pull back again. That's how rulers kept loyalty without compassion. It's not cruelty. It's control through tension. You stretch the cord of desire, but never let it break. That's the rhythm of power. Attraction balanced by denial. You feed them silence until their minds echo with your presence. Once they're thinking about you more than you think about them, control is complete. Because real domination isn't physical or verbal. It's psychological. You occupy their thoughts with your absence. You haunt them with unpredictability. You control them through uncertainty they can't resolve. And here's the paradox. The more you withhold, the more you're remembered. The less you give, the more they want. The quieter you become, the louder your presence feels. That's the principle of Machiavellian silence. Don't react, don't explain, don't rush. Be deliberate, be rare, be unreadable. Every mystery commands attention. Every pause builds pressure. Every silence teaches the world one truth. You are not to be accessed, you are to be awaited. And when people start waiting for you, you're no longer part of their lives. You've become their center of gravity. That's not arrogance, that's precision. The weapon of restraint, the art of silent control, the mark of someone dangerously valuable. When you stop explaining yourself, the balance of power reverses. At first, people don't understand it. They expect justification. They're used to your compliance. The way you fill every silence with apologies, every delay with explanations. But when that pattern ends, their comfort ends with it. They start questioning themselves. Did I say something wrong? Did I lose their trust? Did I lose control? They can't tell. And that's exactly the point. Machiavelli believed the most powerful way to dominate isn't confrontation, it's confusion. When people can't predict you, they begin to revolve around you. They measure their words. They plan their timing. They start reacting to your silence. And that's the moment you become the psychological center of their world. Explanation, at its core, is submission. It's a quiet confession that someone else's opinion has power over your choices. It means you need to be understood to feel justified. But the strong don't need to be understood. They need to be obeyed. When you stop explaining, you remove the illusion of equality. You send a message without a single word. Your decisions are not open for debate. And that small shift changes everything. People start to feel a distance they can't measure. Your silence begins to sound like judgment. Your calm feels like consequence. Your absence hurts more than any words could. You no longer fight to prove your worth. You make others fight for your attention. That's how true power is built, quietly, invisibly. By not reacting, you turn emotion into curiosity. By not defending, you turn criticism into hesitation. By not explaining, you turn uncertainty into respect. Understand this law. The more they understand you, the less they fear you. Clarity brings comfort. Mystery creates leverage. If they can predict you, they can prepare for you. But if they can't define you, they start to move carefully. Machiavelli warned that rulers who try to please everyone end up ruled by everyone. The same rule applies to you. When you constantly explain yourself, you hand out a map to your mind, and anyone with that map can find your weaknesses. They'll use your empathy to guilt you, your logic to trap you, your kindness to control you. Stop being readable. The unreadable are always feared, because people fear what they can't categorize. When you stop explaining, you reclaim mental and emotional territory. You're no longer the defendant in someone else's trial. You're the judge deciding what even gets heard. And from that position, your silence becomes law. They'll test you, of course. They'll provoke, accuse, and manipulate. They'll say you've changed, that you've become cold, distant, selfish. But that's just their way of asking for the old version of you, the one who over-explained and over-gave. Don't bring that version back. Every accusation they throw proves one thing: the power dynamic is collapsing. They're not angry because you're distant. They're angry because they're losing control. Machiavelli would remind you, Never defend the boundary that works. If your silence unsettles them, let it. If your distance bothers them, maintain it. Every ounce of their discomfort means you've taken back authority. Here's the truth most will never admit. People don't really want your honesty. They want your compliance. They don't seek your truth. They seek your explanations so they can twist them to serve their interests. When you refuse to explain, you deny them that control. And that's where respect begins. Because respect isn't born in understanding. It's born in uncertainty. They don't have to like you. They don't have to agree with you. They just have to realize one thing. Access to you is no longer guaranteed. That realization changes everything. Their tone softens. Their timing shifts. Their approach becomes careful. And caution is the first sign of respect. Soon, something fascinating happens. People start explaining themselves to you. They fill the silence you used to fill. They justify, clarify, and overthink just to keep peace you no longer maintain for them. That's the reversal. You've stopped orbiting others. Now they revolve around you. And this isn't arrogance. It's balance. You've simply taken back what was being misused. Your attention, your validation, your energy. By doing that, you've restored something sacred, your mystery. Machiavelli's brilliance wasn't in cruelty, but in discipline. The discipline to keep parts of yourself hidden long enough for the world to see their value. Because what's unseen always feels more powerful than what's explained. So stop justifying your silence. Let it do its work. Let people create their stories, their theories, their interpretations. The truth is simple. When they start trying to understand you, they've already fallen under your influence. And once your silence becomes natural, something irreversible happens. You stop chasing control, and control starts chasing you. At first, it feels strange. You'll see people waiting for your words, studying your face, analyzing your pauses. The same people who once ignored you now move carefully around you. Not because you demanded respect, but because your restraint demanded it for you. This is the moment Machiavelli spoke of, when perception bends in your favor without you lifting a hand. You've stopped being a participant in the world's noise. Now the world adjusts its tone around you. That's the quiet rise of authority. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It simply exists. And in existing, it dominates. People start treating your silence as meaning, your absence as significance, your delay as strategy. Even when you do nothing, it's interpreted as something. That's when you've crossed from influence to power. Power in its purest form isn't control over others. It's control over yourself. It's being so composed that no one can pull you out of your frame. Your calm becomes intimidating. Your detachment becomes magnetic. And your lack of urgency exposes the desperation of those around you. They can't read you anymore. They can't guilt you. They can't move you with emotion or noise. Their old tactics fail against your silence. And that's when respect turns into submission. Not forced, but psychological. They begin to adjust to your rhythm, your timing, your energy. Your restraint becomes the tempo of every interaction. Machiavelli called this governing without governing. When your presence alone shapes behavior, even in your absence, that's the highest form of power. When your influence survives beyond your words. But here's the paradox. You only reach this level when you stop wanting it. When your goal shifts from control to self-mastery. Because power built on control is temporary. Power built on composure lasts forever. This is what the weak never understand. They chase validation as if it proves their worth. They crave recognition as if being seen makes them powerful. But power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being felt. And you can't be felt when you're constantly performing for attention. You must become what Machiavelli called the unmoved mover. A presence that doesn't chase, doesn't explain, doesn't plead, but whose very existence shifts the balance in every room. To reach that point, you must accept isolation as the price of sovereignty. Power isolates by design. When you rise beyond reaction, the world grows quieter, not because it suddenly respects you, but because it can no longer reach you. That silence isn't a flaw, it's confirmation. The silence around you is proof that your energy has risen beyond reach. You've become too valuable to be consumed, and people can feel it. They sense that your time carries weight, your words have cost, and your attention is not a gift. It's a privilege. You've become the opposite of ordinary. While the world chases attention, you stay still. While others expose everything, you remain unreadable. And within that unreadability lies your power. Because mystery is not emptiness, it's pressure. The world fears what it cannot define. And fear, when guided with control, becomes respect. That's what it means to be dangerously valuable. Not loud, not aggressive, but calm, deliberate, and irreplaceable. Your power now lives in contrast. In a society obsessed with exposure, your silence becomes rebellion. In a culture addicted to noise, your restraint becomes prestige. In a world that overshares, your mystery becomes legend. You've evolved from visible to untouchable, from available to rare, from person to presence, from human to symbol. And symbols never chase, they're pursued. So let them talk, let them wonder, let them wait. Don't break your silence, don't prove anything. Every unanswered question adds to your worth. Every delayed reaction increases your pull. Because when your energy becomes that contained, your mind, that calm, that controlled, that unreachable, you stop playing the game. You become the game. That is the Machiavellian secret to becoming dangerously valuable. Control nothing, command everything. Speak rarely, yet be understood completely. Appear briefly, yet be remembered forever. That's not influence. That's power in its purest form. Power earned in silence, sealed in distance, and carried with the calm certainty of someone who no longer needs permission to exist. Power was never about noise. It was never about being loud, seen, or liked. It was always about control. Quiet, deliberate, invisible control. You were taught that being open makes you honest, being available makes you kind, and being understood makes you safe. But every empire falls for the same reason. Too much access, too much exposure, too much giving. Machiavelli warned that a ruler who becomes too familiar loses respect. The more people see him, the less they fear him. And without fear, there is no reverence. Without reverence, there is no power. This isn't cruelty, it's balance. The lion doesn't roar to prove his presence. He simply exists, and everything around him adjusts. That's what you must become, a presence that forces others to recalibrate. You've learned that silence isn't weakness. It's the vessel that holds authority. It's the space where others reveal their nature while you preserve yours. It's the weapon that never fails. You've seen how scarcity changes the atmosphere, how people move slower, speak softer, and think twice when your energy becomes rare. That's not arrogance, that's hierarchy. When you step away from the noise, you stop being another voice. You become the echo that lingers after everyone else is done speaking. And that's where ascension begins. Not through aggression, but through calm. Not through intimidation, but through composure. Not through dominance, but through the discipline to remain still. When you master silence, you become the standard. Others will measure their words by your reaction. They'll seek validation through your indifference. They'll try to fill the void you created. And in doing so, they'll orbit your gravity. That's the Machiavellian ideal. A man who doesn't chase power because power now chases him. A man who doesn't fight for respect because his restraint commands it. A man who is feared not for his cruelty, but for his control. This world is addicted to immediacy, to noise, to movement, to those who mistake motion for progress. But you are no longer one of them. You move differently now. You understand that every word has weight and every silence has a consequence. You no longer explain. You no longer justify. You no longer need to be understood. You simply are. You have become what others only pretend to be. Measured, disciplined, dangerously valuable. Because the man who doesn't need attention will always control those who crave it. And the one who can walk away without a word will always own the one who cannot. Remember this, you don't gain power by taking more. You gain it by needing less, by showing restraint in a world that confuses exposure with worth, by withholding what others waste freely. From now on, you don't chase respect. You create the silence that earns it. You don't demand loyalty. You withdraw presence until it's deserved. You never compete for space. Your absence is the space. This is the silence of kings, the calm at the center of storms, the stillness that bends perception, the quiet that reshapes reality. So step fully into it. Walk with restraint. Speak like it costs something. Disappear when it's time to be remembered. If this message awakened the part of you that refuses to live small, don't just agree, act. Join those who choose power over noise, clarity over chaos, and mastery over movement. Subscribe, because this isn't a channel, it's an initiation. A space for those who choose silence over validation and become untouchable because of it. Now go. And remember, you don't announce value, you become it.